Welcome once again to Pastor Wives Chat. I'm Tanya York, the senior pastor's wife of Herschel, and today I get to share with you guys my friend Joan. Joan and Wesley came here as 2014, I think. Is that right?
Right.
Was it
That's right.
February?
Mm-hmm.
February of 2014. And so we just felt like they were gifted to us. Wesley, his actual name or calling or whatever his title on staff here is just like the pastoral associate pastor of pastoral care.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Okay, so tell in a nutshell, what is his thing? What does he do?
Really, what it says, he cares for people.
He does.
He develops relationships in general.
Right.
But then, if there's any problem, a hospitalization, a death, a crisis of any kind, he's there.
He's there.
Yeah,
He
he's there.
he updates me on a regular basis. Just keeps me really connected with different folks, and we've been to many funerals even that because Wesley and you have been just a blessing at a critical time in people's lives that their family have utilized his calling and his care, and it's just a sweet thing. So we look
Things
at
that would make a lot of people, nervous to go see someone in a hospital
Right.
or at a death.
so
It's just
make
a
you
good
nervous.
thing.
Or how-
Maybe a little, but he is just not at all. It's
Just-
just,
Well, I
like
even
breathing.
have called him and had him do a cold turkey visit of somebody he had no idea who they were. And it was somebody had called me from Louisville and said, this person is, I don't know if they know Christ, and can you get there? Well, I couldn't get there, but I knew if I call Wesley, he'll get there. And Wesley went and talked to this woman and made a friend. She was so impressed with him as a friend. So we count you guys as an incredible gift here at Buck Run. But how long
Thank
have you
you.
guys been married?
It will be 29 years this August.
Okay, so this is the question. Does it feel like you've been married your whole life to
It does.
help?
It
You
does.
can't even,
And we married late. I was 34 and he was 35.
Okay.
But it still feels like we've been married our
you
whole
feel like
lives.
you
It's
can't
just
even
normal.
conceive of a life before
Not really.
that. I can't. And so you have two boys,
Yes.
Michael and Matthew.
Yes.
And Michael and Matthew were adopted.
Right.
And so I would love, I don't know that I've ever heard the story of this, but how did
Okay.
God gift them to you?
Well, I said we married late and then had no idea that we would have infertility problems, which is anyone who's been through that, it's horrible. It's
Right.
heart-wrenching. So after a miscarriage and a failed in vitro attempt, we felt that it was the right time to pursue adoption.
So what year would this have been then?
Oh, well,
Let's see.
probably started the process in 95-ish.
Okay.
94,
Because I asked that because there now adoption's such a part of the culture of many churches, especially here at Buckarett. It's
Right.
really great. And so there was a time where it wasn't necessarily a big part of the culture, and it wasn't as easy to do. I say easy. It's always challenging.
Right.
But so I'm curious how. So keep going.
Well,
So
adoption,
95.
the process is its own pregnancy.
Yes.
You know, you don't carry the child, but it is a difficult, arduous, lengthy process. Michael was a domestic adoption from here in America. He was born in Miami, South Beach, Miami, and it was a private adoption through an attorney.
Okay, so is it open in the sense that did you know the mother or?
It was sort of semi-open.
Okay.
It really didn't
Okay.
start to be open.
Okay.
But she, the birth mother, wanted to be open, just through a long, lots of prayer and a long
Yeah.
process. Michael's life was saved, and she chose life and chose to adopt. So we did meet her and Michael's birth father before he was born. We got to be in the room when he was born.
Wow.
got to help her push.
Wow.
Yes, it was a huge blessing for an adoption.
I
Very
mean, so yeah,
unusual.
that's rare.
Yeah.
That's really.
And then we really didn't have any contact after we left the hospital until I had told him when he was 18 that I would help him find them. And of course, in today's world, he found them before that on Facebook.
Right.
But
Right.
when he was 18, that summer after he turned 18, he and I went down there, and he spent several days with them. And he's had an ongoing relationship, which has been good.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Okay.
In between the two boys, we had a failed placement. We had a little girl for like 3 days, and then the birth mother changed her mind. So that was quite traumatic.
Oh,
It was
mercy.
hard to help Michael process that as a 3-year-old.
Right.
But it
Well,
was
because you're celebrating what's about to happen. You're getting
Right.
him ready
right.
to accept
Right,
this
right.
baby. You're
Yes.
doing everything you
Yeah.
can.
So it was
to-
tough. So
Yeah.
that's really what led us to begin looking at international adoptions. Nobody's coming back after those babies.
Right.
You
You're
know?
right. You're right.
So we had a lot of starts and stops, but we ended up going through an agency that went to Ukraine, and that's where our Matthew was. He was in a Ukrainian orphanage where he had been. He was 18 months. That's as young as you can adopt in
Really?
Ukraine. Yes, they want their people to have first choice.
Okay.
And then at 18 months, they become available for international adoptions.
So how long between your adoption of Michael and then your adoption of Matthew? What was that time frame?
4 years?
4 years.
3.5.
So
Well,
the
almost really about 4.
is the, like some processes, like like I went with my best friend, one of my best friends, to China to adopt, and it's in many ways it's a done deal in the sense of once you start the whole process and you get the picture of the child and
Right.
you
It's
know,
not like
the-
that in Ukraine.
It's not okay.
No.
So that was my question.
You
I
go into a
wondered-
room and you look at pictures and you say yes or no. And,
Really?
yeah, that's when you get to choose your child. And really, they started out putting a little girl's picture before us who was HIV positive. And there are parents who are called to that, and we were
Right.
not. And so that was upsetting. I felt like we'd wasted the trip over there. And I
Sure.
said, well, who do they have? Because there's 3 families in the room, and they had Matthews. And they did not want him because he had a diagnosis of hepatitis C. And so I think they took the little girl, and we got Matthew, who did not have hepatitis C. So
It's just like
he was
the
very
Lord.
sick. He was
Yeah.
very small. He was like
Yeah.
21 pounds at 18 months.
Wow.
So he was very sick and very small, but he was
Yeah.
not something that couldn't be overcome. So
Well, it's one of the sweetest graces that I see at Buckarun is there is a heart for adoption here, and I love it that not only I mean it's really strange because they adopt all across the board, all different places, all different limitations even. It's like the fact that people even come alongside each other in this. So even ones who aren't necessarily going to adopt or feel the passion to adopt, they feel the passion to help
right.
that. And so don't you just love that? See it,
Yes.
like I see the Hintons come to mind. Like they've got 3 kids, and just watching the way they do it, and then Chuck and Abby. I
Right.
could just go through the Farleys, countless people.
Right.
So, what a wonderful thing that the
It
Lord.
is. It's been a tremendous blessing to
yeah.
us. You see some families who they'll adopt and then they'll have a biological child.
Right. I've heard
And
of that.
everybody's
Yeah.
like, well, how does that happen? And I heard someone say once, well, would you have adopted those children if you already had biological children?
Probably no.
Probably not. And
Right.
these children were God's children for you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing. It's difficult, and
Yeah.
the children have difficulties because of it
Right.
through life. But
Yeah.
it is something that's
Well,
wonderful and
yeah,
certainly can be overcome.
It is pure undefiled religion. I mean, it really is what the Bible talks about, to care for the orphan and the widows, and I'm grateful that Buck Run has that. Okay, so let me ask you some questions just about you now. So,
Okay.
where were you born?
I was born in Birmingham, Alabama.
I love Birmingham.
I do too. I miss it.
It's a great city.
Yes,
We
it
did
is.
the Southern Baptist Convention there. Was
Right.
it last year? Last year?
Yes, I believe it was.
A lot's happened.
Yeah.
Since, yeah, so it's hard keeping up with all that. And the city was torn up because they were redoing some
Yes,
things.
right.
But just the people kept apologizing for their city not being in its best form. It was just true Southern hospitality.
It
And
is a pure southern city. It's beautiful.
oh, it's beautiful. So oddly enough, Herschel and I tried to plan a little mini vacation, and with the COVID crazy stuff going on, and where you can go, what's
Right.
open, what's not open, and we were going to go back to Birmingham because it's got incredible, like museums there that several that like the Joneses have even told us, and Michael and Sarah have gone to, but Birmingham's great. So how long did you live there?
Till I moved to Dallas when I was 33.
Okay, so long time.
Long time,
Yeah.
yes.
What took you to
yes.
Dallas?
I was a minister of children,
Okay.
and really in my home church in Birmingham, and thought I had no plans to leave, but God had other plans. And he made it crystal clear that I was supposed to go to Dallas to a church to be a children's minister there.
Uh-huh.
And part of that was that on my first day of work, I met Wesley.
So it's just like the Lord,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's great. And was he attending that church, or
He had
it just-
moved to Dallas from Kentucky 10 years earlier with an accounting job with
Okay.
Mobil Oil.
I didn't know that about
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Wow.
his degree's in accounting, and he worked in accounting, and God called him from that into the ministry. And he had already left that, gone to seminary, finished seminary that May,
Uh-huh.
and they had hired him at church to be the college minister. So he was on staff there in the education ministry.
So you
where
guys
I
have
was.
worn all kinds of hats.
Yeah.
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 That's great. So what brought you then to Kentucky?
A pastorate. He
Okay.
pastored in Lebanon, Kentucky.
All right.
Um,
That's sort of close to Louisville, am I right?
no, that's
where's
Lebanon
it?
Junction. Lebanon
okay.
is between Springfield and Campbellsville.
Okay. All right.
So
then.
south.
Yeah. I remember. I
Yes,
passed that
west of
side,
here,
so now I
yes,
know.
yes.
Yes, I've got that.
Oddly enough, I went to college at Samford University in Birmingham,
Uh-huh.
and his sister went there, and his brother-in-law that she married, and she lived across the hall from me in the dorm. And I didn't really know her. I knew who she was, but I didn't really know her.
I mean, isn't it amazing
Isn't that
the
crazy?
way after the fact and you go back and you talk, more times than not, you hear of the way the Lord just has had your lives just
Right.
intersect, and, the likelihood of you passing one another.
Oh, I know we did,
Yeah,
because I went
had
to
to-
graduation for several years after, and she
Had-
graduated that next year, and
Okay,
he was
and
there.
so
we
it
always
did.
say we grew up together.
Yeah. Not knowing.
We just weren't in the same
Not
state,
knowing.
but we
Well,
grew up
Herschel and I
together.
had that same thing. His grandmother and my grandmother's house backed up to each other.
Oh, how funny.
I know. And so,
That's crazy.
yeah, and there was this old wagon wheel that was in the back of my grandmother's house that I would climb on to look over the fence to to see whoever I could talk to over
Right.
there. And Herschel remembers seeing that wagon wheel in the back of
How funny.
this fence area. And so there's a strong likelihood that
Yeah.
our lives, did intersect, even not knowing that those things do.
You grew up together.
We grew up together. That's going to be my new line. All right. So you say that you did children's ministry there.
did.
So that is one thing that anybody who knows you and talks to you for just a little bit know that that's your passion.
It
and
is.
that is your heart
It is.
cry. And so when you got here to Buck Run, man, you just plunged in.
Well, I
and
was
you were
telling
so
Scott I wanted to jump right in,
Yeah.
and teach Sunday school.
Yeah.
But of course, it was already set, and
Yeah.
so I got to be in your class for several months.
Yeah.
Which was a gift to get to know you and the ladies that were in there.
It was
And then-
sweet.
yes.
It was a sweet group. They were
Yes.
an eclectic bunch, and man, I love them. But so you would say that is the ministry that just
It is.
really
It is.
perks your heart
Oh,
up,
it is,
and,
yes.
and you feel your skill set in. Have you done any other ministries in churches aside from being a pastor's wife?
Yes.
Okay.
Not really.
Not really?
I mean, a little here and there helping with this or that.
Is there anything that you have done that you just go, that's just not going to be me at all?
I don't know that there is. It's just like if I would facilitate a women's Bible study like I have, I can do that.
Yeah.
But it's not my calling.
But you just don't, it doesn't ring
And
your
so
bells.
I do it, and then I'm like, yeah, this is fine, but it's someone else should be doing this that just really is their calling. It
Yeah.
should be.
You're capable.
So, yes.
You just don't.
And we can often do things that
Yes.
it's more of our own flesh than of our gifting.
Right.
So I just go back to
Specifically in the children's
Older
ministry.
children.
Older, okay. Like when you're talking,
Well, I
what
teach
grade?
3rd, 4th, and 5th now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's my favorite.
So you
is
have
those
my
older
Stella
ones.
then.
I do.
Yeah,
Yes. Or I did before COVID.
Oh, right.
But I will when we go
hope,
back.
we hope you still have her before
Yes,
it's all
when we go back.
said and done. Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that I've done in ministry that I just go, yeah, I don't love that. I will do it because it needs to be done.
Right.
But it just didn't. It doesn't make my heart beat.
Right.
I feel
Right.
obedient and I feel capable. I just don't feel fulfilled in it,
Right.
if that makes any sense. And
Right.
so weeding out that. But I've watched you with kids in like Vacation Bible School and even, just being with kids, and you can tell it's just,
I
you
just
light
love
up.
them.
Yeah.
I just love them.
You light up a lot of for a lot of things though. One of them that's really sweet to me is I was talking to you about how long you work at Kroger.
Yes.
Kroger in Versailles.
Yes.
How long have you worked there now?
5 years yesterday.
No kidding.
5 years yesterday.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. So you started doing, what did you start out there? I know what you do now.
Yeah, I started out in apparel.
Okay.
It was a summer job because I worked at Lexington Christian Academy.
Uh-huh.
I was a teacher's aide and the lunch coordinator there for
Aw.
many, many years.
Uh-huh.
But it was part-time. And so after the summer, I just kept the Kroger as part-time. But it was too much. It was much more than 40 hours, and I was getting off at 7 every night and working 8 hours every Saturday. And
Right, yeah.
so
And
when
that's
Kroger offered me a full-time job, we prayerfully considered it and felt, yes, this was
So you
the right thing.
officially, what's your position
I'm the
now?
date checker.
Okay.
So I check for expiration dates, look for out-of-date things to get that off the shelf, things that are approaching out of date, and mark that down. Customers follow me around.
I was going to say, I need to know the days you do this.
I do it Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
8 to 4, Monday
Yes.
through Friday. Okay, I
Yes.
may show up one of these days. I'm one of those people, but I'm also like I am like almost obsessive about date checking. Like I look to get the furthest date,
Sure.
out for it. And I'm going I'm one of those crazies who climb up into the milk cabinet thing to get the milk
The
carton
farthest
that
ones
is
back,
the
yeah.
very back, because that is where it is.
That's where I start every morning is with the milk.
Is it?
Every morning. Yes.
Well, and you mark it down well before it actually expires, though, right?
Milk is 7 days.
Okay,
Other
so-
dairies, 10 days. Bread's just 2 days. So it depends on what it is.
Okay.
I have a little handheld computer that tells me
I-
what to do.
Okay, I'm going to just show up one day, just follow you around. Okay, so so the lighten up. Going back to that, I remember talking to you about you working at Kroger, and your face just lit up talking about working at Kroger, and it just endeared me so much to you. And you didn't look at it like this is just a paycheck. This is just income. What drew you to Kroger, and what makes you embrace your job, basically?
Well, what I do is important.
Yeah.
The product needs to be fresh, but the thing is the people.
Yeah.
It's the people. It's the people I work with. I love those people
Aw.
that I work with. I can't tell you. I was thinking, I really can't think of any I don't like that I work with there. They're all, I don't know, I just really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
then customers too. You have regulars that you see almost every day, that you develop a relationship with, that are really strangers to you, but they're your Kroger customers. So
Right.
I don't know, it's just a heart thing.
Yeah, I run in, because I go to the same Kroger basically every time I grocery shop, and I see the same people and I talk to them, and though some I can call by name, but many, their face has made me I'm their friend
Right.
through their face,
Right.
and they're always just so, um, makes me shop my Kroger, by the way,
Right.
because of that.
Right.
Well, so being there in a place that some people would go, well, that's just not like the most fulfilling life dream career or something like that. Can you
Right.
help? You have any tips for somebody who help them reset their perspective on working?
Well, a
and
lot of
their-
people hear what I do. A lot of my coworkers are like, "Oh, your job is the worst. I could never do that. How on earth do you do that?" Because it is tedious.
Sure.
It's repetitive and it's tedious. But I'm working alongside people and I'm talking to people as I do it, and I'm helping people find things. And, God made it crystal clear to me that He was doing a new work. My boys laugh at me because, like He put it on billboards.
Yeah, that's why you light up.
He made it
I want to say
crystal,
because that's
crystal clear.
you feel like you're doing what the Lord's
I am.
got you
I
doing.
am where He wants me to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know the, eternal purpose, except maybe, I can make a difference to someone. I don't know. That's my prayer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you would be fun to work with. I would. It would be a neat thing to me. But I love it that you. So basically, your encouragement would be just like get a perspective of
yeah. Are you doing what God
God
wants
wants you to do. It doesn't matter where it is
And then if
what
so,
it is.
what is the purpose of being there besides checking the dates or whatever it is?
Yeah.
What is your real purpose for being there?
Well, have you had a favorite job to date, like in your whole career?
I
of
loved my
lived there?
children's ministry. I
And you did that
knew-
for how long? You say?
20 years.
20
Long
years.
time.
Yeah.
I knew that when I married a pastor, the odds were going to be that I would not be able to do that anymore, and that was a big grief. And I actually did do it a little bit longer in Lebanon until Michael came along, and I tried to do it some, and I couldn't.
Yeah, it's hard to
And
juggle.
I had to give it up. So that was hard. I found out that my sense of self was a little bit wrapped up in what I did, which is not right, but it was what it was.
That's a good word, by the way, and it does. It's like because you feel like you do it well, and people appreciate that you do it well, and you do think if I don't do this, then I'm less than.
Right.
And
And
that's
Wesley was in ministry, and he was still going to the meetings. He's like, I gotta go to a meeting. I said, I would love to go to a meeting. I would love to do that. Not that I didn't love being home with my son. I did, but it was a transition. It was a hard thing. I loved working at LCA. I still can cry over leaving LCA.
Oh, yeah.
My job there, it was with children.
Yeah, like grade school.
Grade school. It was grade school.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I loved the teachers. I loved the parents because
Oh.
I got
Oh.
volunteers for the lunchroom every day. I had 4 volunteers, so I was very interacting with the parents. So I loved that job. And leaving it was tough.
I would imagine so. I cannot tell you how happy it makes this grandmother's heart and this pastor's wife heart knowing that our kids somebody's not just filling a hole, they're loving what they do. And so I know you're excited to get back,
I
to
am.
it. I know
I am.
they are. So, okay, other than a pastor's wife and mom, is there any profession? Nothing limits you, all right?
Oh, wow.
Any profession, what would you choose? You could just start doing something right now.
That's a very hard question.
I know, it is. I'm sorry about
It
that.
would probably be back in the school.
Would it?
It probably would,
Uh-huh.
because you'd be with children every day.
Yeah, just 'cause you-
Yes.
You would
Yes.
make a great principal. I don't know if you've ever.
Oh. Well, I
could-
have a gift of administration. I'm
I
very
can. I know
organized,
you do,
and so-
and you're an encourager, and you just relate well to people. So
But I never had an education degree.
okay.
I never had a seminary degree.
Uh-huh.
And when God called me to the children's ministry, I was like, did I miss something? Because my degree's in interior design, merchandising and interior design. I know.
So have you been able to use that?
Well, I'm in merchandising pretty much
Okay.
now at Kroger.
Right, uh-huh.
And I did freelance interior design for a while, and just as a hobby at home. But he kind of impressed upon me that it was going to be his thing, not my thing, too. train me of how to do my work. So,
Right.
so yeah, I guess that's what it would be.
Yeah,
something like that.
I can picture you doing that. Okay, so here's a, in your current season of life, where do you find yourself spending most of your time in fellowship with the Lord? Would you say it's in your prayer life or your Bible study or worship or journaling?
I'm not a journaler.
Yeah. Do you wish you were?
No, not really.
You don't?
Because I've tried it, and
Uh-huh. Somebody said if you stick with something 21 days, it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And so, again, Kathy Casey, she comes up with this all the time, but she journaled, and her journals had such an impact on me. Reading a few of those. Bobby Casey, I'm coming back for one, by the way. I need a fresh one. But that it made me say, you can speak, though, in the grave. Your voice
Right.
still has an incredible weight.
Yes.
And her words had such weight.
But that's a calling too. People
It
that can
is.
write like that.
Yeah, I can't write
Jennifer
like that, but I
Whitaker.
just, yeah, she's,
Ah,
I know.
yes, Jennifer Thurman.
I know.
People that can write like that
I-
and may have started with journaling. I don't know.
Well, I'm forcing
That's just not
myself.
me.
Like I've been doing since all this stuff. So actually, since Kathy passed, I started journaling, and it's just little bits and pieces and nuggets, and mostly people I'm praying for, and I want to make sure I don't forget the way the Lord said yes, or the way the Lord said no.
Right.
And you think you'll never forget, but you do, because now I go back and I see things and I go, wow, I'd forgotten I'd prayed for that, and look what the Lord did. So I journal. So you
But
say
your answer to your question.
Okay.
Is more prayer
prayer.
and Bible study, Bible reading, and I need to be either outside or by window. I
I'm
don't know
like
why
that.
that is. I just have to be by a window.
I'm the
and not
same way.
necessarily right by it, but just where I can see.
Yeah, I'm the
sky
same
and
way. I
world.
don't need, that's great. I wonder, we're sisters.
I know we are.
We grew up together, evidently.
We grew up together.
Yeah, I'm with you though. And like even when we were doing in-home church, I would do put up my iPad and I would sit by a window where I could see out. That just connects me
Right.
better. So same way. So any particular book right now or let me ask this: if I were to get your Bible and I were to thumb through it, is there more worn spot than
It would
another?
fall open to Ephesians and
Ephesians.
Psalms.
Oh,
Those are
that's-
my two favorites.
Yeah.
And that's, all of the Word, of course, is the Word. But
Sure.
Those are just my
But
favorites.
some you're
They're
just going
Ephesians is just,
yeah,
to me, it just covers it. Life.
it
just
does.
covers it.
it does. I love the book of Ephesians. It nails down. It leaves no question of what it is you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And so I appreciate that. And the Psalms, man, it's just so
It's just your
fast.
heart's cry.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
That's right.
It's
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
You've got that. All right. So we all have someone in our life that either led us to Christ or has helped us further our walk with Christ. Is there someone who comes to mind that would be one of those two things in your life?
I can think of two people.
Okay.
One would be my pastor in Birmingham. Not really the one when I was a child, but the one when I was adult. He, like my husband and your husband, was an expository preacher and just taught me the Word of God. Just week after week after week. Not me, the
such
whole
a
church.
gift.
Yes, and just really, I felt like I was grounded in the Word over so many years of his preaching. Not that I was close to him personally, but just as a pastor. And of course, he was my pastor when I worked there too. And then there was a woman named Sylvia Gunter, and she discipled young adult women, and she discipled me as a young adult woman. And so I would have to say to her, as far as pursuing godliness, pursuing holiness.
How old were you when she came into your...
In my 20s.
In your 20s. And how old was
probably
she?
young 20s. She was probably in her 40s.
Okay, so about doubled then. Yeah, it's always curious to me. You don't want to be too far ahead of somebody, but far enough where they can go, oh, this is what it's going to look like, kind of thing. And well, praise the Lord for Sylvia.
Yes.
What a grace
Right.
that is.
And she moved away, and I moved away, and we've lost touch. I haven't seen her in ever, long time, but I
Yeah.
think of her often.
Did she give you tools to implement in your life that you pass on now?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know of specific tools like a process or a method, more than just I don't know.
Yeah.
Training.
Yeah,
Just training.
just
Bible memory, training.
yeah. Some
It's-
people think it should just happen naturally, but it doesn't. You really need somebody
Right.
sort of. I mean, the Holy Spirit could do that, but
Yes.
typically the way He does do that is through somebody coming alongside you and
Right.
just helping you do that. All right. Well, now here comes. This flew by the way. I could just
Yeah.
sit and chat with
I know,
you.
we're just talking.
Yeah, I know. I just let me. Okay, you all. I don't know if you can see. Hold your fingernails up there.
Oh.
Can you see? Oh, all right. They're red, white, and blue. It's so cool that she's got this fashion statement going
You
on.
gotta have
And I
fun.
just looked at myself, and I'm bringing shoulder pads back. That's what I think they're super flattering, but
I like 'em
it's my
too.
David Byrne look or whatever. Anyway, it's a little. I just noticed that they're big. They're out there. Okay, it's the if thing. So if you've
Okay.
watched any of the previous Pastor Wives chat, I'll ask you if something, and then you just fill in the blank. Okay. All right. If you were to repeat a vacation, which one would you repeat?
Probably the boys were young, and my sister-in-law, they had access to a house, not on the beach, but near enough to walk. And we spent a good week, a little more down there.
Nice.
And I'm not a sun sitter. I sit under the umbrella and read, but just to be there together.
Sweet. Yeah,
My boys are 18 and 22 now,
I know,
so they're
do-over.
big, and we're gone in different
Yeah.
directions now. So to have that close time
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you treasured it then, but it's a sweet memory that you go back and you draw from over
Right.
and over again and go, oh, a do-over. Okay, if you were going to do something crazy adventurous, what would it be?
Oh my. Probably something like I don't know, not mountain climbing, like climbing a
Yeah.
mountain, but a big hiking, woodsy, outdoory
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so you like outdoors a
I
lot.
do.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay. If you watch a movie over and over, it would probably be what?
One of my favorite movies is Dave, and not many people know that
I don't
movie.
know this
It's
movie. What is it?
hilarious. It's
What is it?
hilarious. Dave is someone who it looks a lot like the president, and the
Okay.
president's just a real jerk.
Okay.
The president of the United States. And so they got him to do like fill-ins, like he would act like he was the president when the president really didn't want to go somewhere. Well, the president had a stroke, and so they got him to become the president,
Oh.
so they could be in power.
And so
the
you've
people who-
watched?
a million times.
A million
yes.
times.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I
And
do.
it's so
Groundhog
tender, it's
Day
very sweet.
is what I watch over and
Oh,
over
really?
again.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
and
appropriate.
because it's appropriate to do such a thing. Okay, if you're eating, this is your last one. If you're eating a favorite meal, what's on your plate?
Oh, wow. Probably some kind of like steak and vegetables. Maybe
Any
a
vegetables?
potato.
Oh, baked potato.
And, I mean, a potato and then
okay.
real actual
Okay,
vegetables,
all right.
green or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And dessert? What's your dessert?
anything.
Anything.
As long as it doesn't have coffee in it.
Yes.
I'm not a coffee drinker.
At all?
Not at all, no.
Not ever.
My daddy asked me many times when I was going to grow up and drink coffee. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
So there's no need to grow up and drink coffee.
Okay, so let it be known if you're going to fix Joan a dessert,
Yeah.
leave out the
No
coffee.
coffee.
No tiramisu or tiramisu or however you pronounce it. It's got coffee in it, right?
I think so.
I don't know.
But no, yeah, any dessert other than that.
Uh-huh.
I love chocolate.
So you're
so I
steak and
love-
potato. That's Hirsch.
Yeah.
He's a steak and potato
yeah.
kind of guy.
I'm not really fancy food. I'm not really.
Uh-huh.
Pizza's all right, and I crave it sometimes, but I'm always
Yeah.
ready for meat and potatoes. Kind of
Well,
food.
man can eat on meat and potatoes the rest of their life. I think I can. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Joan.
You're welcome. Thank
You
you,
are
Tanya.
a sweet treasure,
As
and
you are.
we're just grateful for you. You add such a beautiful dimension to the ministry team of Buck Run, and
Thank
just your sweet, calm spirit and your yes, I'll do what you need me to do attitude. So We'll see you guys next time on Pastor Wives Chat. Bye.
Bye.